Winter, spring, summer, fall, seasons change, we still keep it together.
Hey, Beverly Hills 90210 fans! Are you ready to dive deep, episode by episode, storyline by storyline, character by character, as we break down the making of your favorite zip code? With your hosts, Charles Rosen.
Did I say that?
Mary
This
Mullen.
heinous thing about the real person, and we're going, what? We're getting rid of this guy.
Pete Ferrero.
I'm feeling wonderful. Kathleen looks TV crush worthy.
Like so many special guests. And all your questions. Live on the Beverly Hills 90210 show. Oh, yeah. Everybody dance now.
Well, here we are on the StorySlam, the first one of these things. I am so excited about this.
Premiere.
Big premiere night.
Well, of the staged reading, it's true. It's true.
It's the first the premiere of this workshop.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I know that
because
there's Klieg lights out. There's Klieg lights out in front of my house. I don't know about you, but people are arriving for the you know, especially for the after party.
Oh, the after party. That's where it's at.
Oh, there is going to be one today on Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I wanted
to join Patreon. Help me out here. Come on.
That's it. Exactly.
We got original fiction.
All right, I want to talk about this before we bring the originator of the person who came up with all this. I want to talk to you guys about this because this is the first time, I mean, since the reboot, right, that there's new 90210 content. What's cool about this is that it's not a reboot. We don't need to know where they are now. It goes back in time. It's the stories that you never heard of. So for you, Charles and Larry, how fun was it revisiting some of these characters? Larry, you wrote this first one.
Well, I mean, Chuck and I were both thrilled to all of a sudden have these voices in our head again and put stuff down. I have to admit, it was a little bit of a guilty pleasure. Didn't really want to do it at first because it's work, writing. We're used to, professionals. We're used to, having someone say, "Hey, do this. Here's the money." But just to take this in, it was really fun to get back to it. And what did you think, Chuck?
Well, I remember that the beginning, we you were going to the vineyard, so we knew we'd have a little time and space on this. I kind of envisioned what we're doing, that we would write some kind of script. I didn't we put in some rules that we broke only once, but really guided things. And those rules pretty much came from Larry, which was not to have put things in seen in an episode in which we've already seen it. So you can't. If we're going to do the spring dance, you can't really show a scene that's already in the spring dance. You may be able to go into the spring dance, but not in the same way.
Right.
As if the timeline was elastic and we're just putting in moments that you didn't get to see. Sometimes they're over the summer, sometimes they're over the, because our show traditionally would always be, you go through a weekend and then, and pick up again. So it's just, sometimes it might be that Sunday night,
Well, particularly, even before you came, Larry, in like third season, maybe even at the end of the second season, it's Thursday night. Really, the third season. It was Thursday night, Thursday afternoon. So we could get one day of school, the weekend, which is what everybody really wanted to see, and then whatever would go on maybe sometimes on a Monday.
Exactly. That pretty much stayed once we got into
that's why the Beverly Hills 90210 show is on Wednesdays for our first airings, because nobody had claimed it. We were only Thursday to Monday.
Pete, I think, we had talked about doing a fan fiction idea with the fans, and again, we are in the Festival of Fans, and we're continuing the this month-long festival. But I want to say what happened was, and I want to bring Thaddy on now because it just kind of happened. Thaddy is from BH, which is Belo Horizonte, Brazil. Did I pronounce that right? Or even close?
Yes. Hello, guys. Hi.
Hello.
Really happy to be here.
Larry, this was initially an idea.
Like
Oh,
I want
thanks.
to
Nice.
tell what happens.
Well,
'cause I
real
think-
quick, Larry, before you say this, I wanted to tell you that Lisa says she appreciates how sharp Larry looks all the time. So there's
Very
Yeah,
sharp,
I was
Larry.
going
To
to
make
say
sure-
the same.
when you tell this story, you should know that information.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
You know, and we were talking about doing stories, and then and what the fan fiction might be. And Thaddy, I think it was just over like a Facebook Messenger. She presented a story to me, but she was in it,
Right.
and I went, "Wow, what a cool idea!"
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's the way to kickstart this. You know, kind of it wasn't a contest we were doing, but we were just trying to open up a thing called StorySlam where people would submit things, and eventually we would actually do them as little plays, which is obviously what Premiere
Well, like
was tonight.
everything that's in American society, Western civilization, we didn't start it out to be a contest, but it
That's
kind of
right.
ended up that way.
Yeah.
Right, but
because only 3 of them out of the 10 we heard that we select to put some energy into.
Oh my God, StorySlam
yeah,
2
because
is
we
gonna be
should
incredible.
talk when Michelle comes on. We should talk about that show, which was the first StorySlam show,
Right.
where
Well,
people
you're right.
presented their ideas, and it was
I'm
really
so
a wild
excited.
show.
I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah.
Jumping the gun. But anyway, I want to just give thanks to Thaddy in Brazil before we go further, because without that kind of quirky idea she had of all of a sudden putting herself as the one who's the romantic interest of, I think it was Dylan at the college.
Yeah,
It wouldn't have happened. So, and really,
I'm
would
still
want to
working
appreciate
on
that.
my StorySlam.
Yeah.
We'll do it
Pitching.
because we're
She's
going to
gonna
have
be
some
pitching
more
for
of these.
StorySlam
So
too.
absolutely.
Yeah, I had some ideas. After that day, I started thinking about, for example, what Chuck said and what Larry said, and I started working on my stories. Like, I haven't finished yet, but
Okay. Season 2. But I'm just been so excited about most of the things on this podcast. A fan suggested it, and we just rolled with the punches as if we created the entire concept.
It was a workable idea, and then it became something else, and it evolved. But I wanted to take the moment before we did anything to thank Thaddy and never let everyone know.
Thank you.
I also
guys.
want to take
So
the
good,
moment.
Daddy. Thank you.
It was really an honor, and I would never imagine it would be something like this. You know, I'm talking to
listen,
you
I wanna
guys.
tell
I'm
you,
talking
Thaddy.
to Larry and you know, Chuck.
You reinvigorated Chuck and Larry about writing 90210 again. When I first approached them about an idea like this, they both said no.
Guys, I'm crying.
And
Seriously,
you-
I'm crying.
Well,
I'm
you know,
so
the truth
honored.
is that a good idea can come from anywhere, and that's kind of, Larry, I think you'd agree with this. That was kind of the vibe we had with our crew. You know, if Drew, they had ideas. Drew, you've met them, people who watch this show regularly.
Yes.
You've met Diane Kennedy. You've met Drew Kinney. They're people. Tom Victor. They're Jill Henkel. They had ideas, and if there was a good idea, we're going with it. I don't care if you were the right this that, and you know, and if conversely, if a writer had a good idea about production, it's in there because a good idea is a good idea. And Thaddy, you had a good idea. Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I do want to say too, before we move on with the show, Peter Goldsworthy says this, and I think it's important to acknowledge. Chuck, congratulations on the new addition to the family.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
congrats, Chuck.
you should definitely.
A lot more Rosens.
We were on a Zoom when he was born, which was the best part, I think. So that was great.
Yes.
I loved that.
We
We were
that.
live.
Yeah, well, he's a very handsome little boy, and he's got a cousin, Judah, from my daughter and her husband, who have their second child, and they're born within weeks. One was September 18th, and the other was October 21st. So it's great for that generation to have each
Good
other.
cousin love.
And they're cute kids. So yeah, Grandpa Charlie. That's what it says up there. So it must be true.
You really are making the
Congrats.
grandpa thing. I mean,
Yes.
you're just rocking it now because now it's multiple. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
feels like
Yeah, we went one. That's right. We're 3X now. It's like
it's
and
really-
2 rescue dogs. So there
really-
you go.
it's really gotten serious. All right, and let's talk to Michelle. Let's bring her on. I think right because this
Michelle.
Hi.
Hi.
Michelle is in Queens, New York, I believe, right?
Yes.
That's right.
She is the only fan of the Atlanta Braves who lives in Queens, New York. But that's just
I'm
between
not
us.
She's a Yankee fan. She's a Yankee fan.
Yankee.
I see her post. She's very
Oh,
good. She's a big
Yankees.
sports fan. Her husband's a Yankee man.
Well,
So sorry to hear
I'm
that.
sorry. I'm with
Me
Mullen on
too.
that one. You know, I'm all
But-
Red Sox.
But you know, Michelle came into this because when we did our StorySlam show, we asked our fans to submit stories of themselves within the timeline. We gave them the rules, and Michelle was the winner. I mean, and normally we would build up because we have 2 other ones we're going to present, but this one came together quickly, and we wanted to show it to you. And Michelle had this idea about Dylan in Hawaii. And I mean, what was your experience, first of all, when you were pitching that day, that story show, that StorySlam show? That was pretty out there. You were very brave. Both of you.
I was very excited. I was also very nervous, but I was excited to do it. I tried to come up with the best storyline I could possibly for Dylan, because he was always my favorite character. And I just thought maybe it could be something, because I remember him going to Hawaii with his mother. So I thought, maybe he met a girl there. So that's where I came up with the idea.
I mean, that's the process we would do. You think, what do you got available to you? You got a mom in Hawaii. You start thinking, things just start adding up, and and that was good. I think you got to kiss Dylan in the story, as I remember.
Yeah.
And of course,
it still happens. It still happens. I don't mean to spoil anything.
And more. But the other thing is that I remember when you pitched it, and Larry and I, we talked about this, that you're going to be the girl in Hawaii. And I started thinking of, well, where do we slip into an episode? How do I slip it into this episode? That kind of thinking. And Larry was thinking about this, a whole original take that was based on the paradigm that you presented, but it was such a good one. So as he's pointed out to me just the other day, maybe some of the other stories that we have with the character Michelle can actually come into play later.
Yes.
Yeah, basically, like you felt, what happened to you is what happens to all young writers. People take their work and change it, and it becomes something else. But you were an important step in it, and we then took it somewhere. We wanted to make it a milestone moment for Dylan that no one had ever seen, and that's what we were shooting for. And then, I mean, let's face it, we then once we had it written, then we had to cast it, and maybe we have some cast waiting. I mean, should we just jump them in? What do you think?
I think we should show it first and then bring the cast on to talk about this afterwards. What is your thoughts on that, Larry? We could do it either way.
What do you think? I thought maybe we'd introduce the cast first. Maybe
let's introduce them.
It'd be nice to introduce the cast.
Because I think we should talk about that show, because that was also a show that we did where, again, Louise had to get up early in London to audition for the part. Jessica is in Chicago, had to audition for the part. Months did nothing. But we wanted we cast him bad. We knew we needed a Hawaiian gang member, and we knew there was only one in our mind. That would be
this is
Ryan Thomas Brown.
But I mean, I want to acknowledge that I don't see Tom back here, but Tom took the role of Dylan, which was a really hard role to.
I mean, walking
so
in his shoes.
Let's hold Tom off and
talk to these guys. Because Tom, we wanted you all to see Tom, but Jessica and Louise, you got up and presented yourself. We did a show called Open Call, and you basically auditioned like all actors do now by remote, but you were actually live. What was that experience like, Louise? You were up earliest.
It was quite nerve-wracking. I didn't think it would be, and just reading a couple of lines. But yeah, it was quite nerve-wracking, but fun all the same. I mean, what an experience to be part of. But it got the butterflies going for sure.
Well, that's good. That always makes you know you're alive.
Well, what's exciting here is because Jessica is Michelle, and now we have the real Michelle and Jessica here. This is like,
that's true. I need to acknowledge that. You're absolutely. Where did Michelle go? You just killed her.
She got a cell phone issue, but she was offended by the thought of it.
No. Yeah, of course.
Come out of here.
Look, we love Michelle, and actually, in our minds originally, we thought, the characters can play themselves, but it's hard to be an actor, as everyone has found out. There's Michelle coming back in now, but Jessica, like I met Jessica. I guess she's been a fan. I said, Mom must have responded to her, and then she actually read my first novel and reviewed it with her book group and stuff. And
I did it on my YouTube channel. I
amazing.
reviewed and recommended Larry's book.
Michelle, are you excited to see someone play you or what you developed?
She's having issues.
Oh,
there she is. There
Sad.
She comes. No.
Yep.
No.
Sad. It's sad.
Oh.
She's just happy to be here, even if her technology.
Yeah, hold on one second. Okay.
But I just want to say, Jessica, is a graduate student at Northwestern. She's accomplished a TED speaker, but she had no acting experience, which I think shocked us because she's so
incredible
natural.
in this. Yeah.
Can I play the part of Michelle too?
Understudy.
Of course she can, and she will play Bobo.
Yes.
It reminds me when Seinfeld had was doing the pilot and they had a Kramer. It kind of reminds me of that. All right, I want to show this.
Yes.
I wanted to ask Muntz though. Was it fun for you to kind of play a character and dive into one of these things?
Of course it was, yeah. And again, I apologize for probably not being at my best, but I'd probably been up for maybe 20 minutes.
In my opinion, you played him just perfectly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very Buddha-like. Very Buddha-like.
All of you.
Thank you,
Show
bro.
cuts together. You'll see.
Thank you.
I want to ask Michelle, did you hear the question about what is it going to be like to see someone playing you?
Yeah, it's going to be a little weird, but I'm excited to see her take on it and the finished product.
Had you ever met Jessica before?
No,
in the community. Oh well, there you go. This is Jessica. Michelle, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
But Louise, who's playing Louise is playing Iris McKay, and Jessica's playing obviously Michelle, and Tom is not there. Is he coming in or no?
I don't see Tom.
Okay,
He's not there.
Unfortunately,
He's not there yet.
He's not here.
Oh. Well, when he does the show, maybe you guys. We're watching the show. Maybe you could.
Yeah, I'll try to see where he's at. Maybe Melanie can work on that.
Well, I think we should say before we spool it, Pete did an amazing job on this editing it and stuff because again, we should also say that Louise not only auditioned once, she had to go to callbacks just like all actors do, which is even more nerve-wracking because it means you're close.
That's right.
And she she got the part. I mean, it just happens, and so we have a mix in this thing of professional actors and people who are just fans of the show who watched enough TV to figure it out.
Yes. The women are fans. Thank you very much, and the men are professional actors. And other things.
And Chuck, Chuck and I kind of oversaw the production of this just like we would. And so it's a great thrill for us, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, the also thing is this show is designed, this I guess it's a 10-minute piece, Pete? Is that something
That's
like
right.
that?
Mm-hmm.
It's designed as an audio play. Now, you're going to see the video of this kind of stage reading of the audio play, the edited version of it. So, in a way, you can close your eyes occasionally. But I mean, we have such a good-looking cast, you might not want to. But yes, but that's how it's designed, and that's what we're thinking in the future, that we might be able to really have some interesting, extra special content for people who love the show.
I will tell you that I know that this might not be the end of StorySlam, and I know that in the holidays there might be something coming your way that would be super.
And not to mention the next two
so
potential weeks. We have two more.
We got two more waiting in the wings. We just have to,
and one is
get it done.
and the final one, which we're going to do. I don't know. I mean, we don't tell who it's going to star.
Well, we did. I mean, we
already did.
It's
Jenny Garth is Kelly Taylor.
That's right.
And that's already in the vault. We've already
recorded it. It was incredible. It was so weird to be sitting there and hear Jenny Garth doing things as Kelly. I had chills, Larry.
I did.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to remove all of our cast and just put this video up. And
Dylan's confession. So here you go.
Oof, premiere.
And hang around. You guys are going to come back on after it's done, and we'll chit chat about what it was.
And they have not seen it either. So
they have not seen it. Okay, and let's hope that, and let's just hope that StreamYard doesn't fuck us. Here we go.
Okay, no one knows the real version of this. Not Kelly, not Brenda, not Brand. This happened way before the Walshes came to town, before I was at West Bev, during the summer of Iris and Jack's brutal divorce, where the goal was to go for the jugular and squeeze. They went to war over everything. Couldn't agree on anything except that their son, Dylan, was a mess. By the time I reached the end of middle school, I had already been kicked out of 2 prep academies, as well as a shitty little school for shitty, spoiled rich kids. My drinking had become a daily thing, and I just got caught smoking pot. My parents flipped a coin and Iris must have lost because next thing I knew, I was on a night fly bound for Maui.
Dylan, get out here. You don't fly 3,000 miles to stay in bed all morning.
I'm jet lagged, Iris. Go easy.
Get up.
Iris was in the garden. I was half asleep. There was way too much sunshine.
Hey guys.
Glitch,
We're
glitch,
having a
glitch.
video issue, yeah. Glitch you.
They cannot do, StreamYard cannot do anything in sync anymore?
It's crazy, guys. I mean,
well, we can't show it now. Can't do it.
Iris lived up country in a glorified treehouse in Kula with magnificent.
Well, the only way we can do it is the way that it was intended to be done. Let's start over. Let's turn off all the picture and just hear it.
Okay.
We can do it that way. It was intended to be audio, as Larry likes to call it.
Yeah, but it's just it is playing the audio, so it's fine if you just. But I don't know that I can remove the picture because there's picture on it. So we would just. Have
I know,
to
but we're going to tell people right now. Forget
the video.
Don't worry about the video.
Just listen to it.
Reboot.
Close your eyes.
Start again.
Starting again.
Refresh.
Reboot.
Refresh. Reboot.
And I guess I should. And I guess I should do my thing right before it again. You know, there's no people like show people.
All right, I'm muting all of us too. By the way, all right, here we go. We're gonna try this again.
Okay, no one knows the real version of this. Not Kelly, not Brenda, not Brand. This happened way before the Walshes came to town, before I was at West Bev. During the summer of Iris and Jack's brutal divorce, where the goal was to go for the jugular and squeeze. They went to war over everything. Couldn't agree on anything except that their son, Dylan, was a mess. By the time I reached the end of middle school, I had already been kicked out of 2 prep academies, as well as a shitty little school for shitty, spoiled rich kids. My drinking had become a daily thing, and I just got caught smoking pot. My parents flipped a coin and Iris must have lost because next thing I knew, I was on a night fly bound for Maui.
Dylan, get out here. You don't fly 3,000 miles to stay in bed all morning.
I'm jet lagged, Iris. Go easy.
Get up.
Iris was in the garden. I was half asleep. There was way too much sunshine. Iris lived up country in a glorified treehouse in Kula with magnificent view of the channel to Lanai. But all I could see were the 2 little bottles of Jack I yanked off the flight attendant's cart waiting for me in my suitcase. Walking to the patio, I turned a blind corner and tripped over the most perfect tanned pair of legs in floral board shorts. They were connected to a body belly down within a flower bed. Oh shit, sorry. I'm running on fumes.
No, my fault. I didn't mean to block the path.
What are you doing down there anyway?
The plumeria, needed some extra TLC.
She got to her feet and wiped off the dirt and fertilizer from her faded sleeveless t-shirt. She was as exotic as the blooms she was tending. I couldn't tell if she was my age or a couple years older. Didn't matter. Her smile was brighter than the damn sun.
Dylan, this is Michelle Ramos. Michelle, my son, Dylan McKay.
We shook hands, and even with Iris there, it was not at all awkward. Michelle was Filipino, something in the color of the coffee shaved ice her parents served from the back door of their little fish restaurant in Paya. Iris was a regular, and before long she invited Michelle to become her apprentice 3 mornings a week. A nice break from the drudgery and smell of a summer spent washing dirty dishes for her parents. Michelle went back to pluck her sick plumeria, and over a breakfast of papaya, toast, and island ground coffee, I had to listen to Iris bag on my father while criticizing me for being exactly like him. She was right. Like Jack, I wasn't listening. I couldn't take my eyes off Michelle, and she knew it. So when Iris went off to a yoga class, Michelle gave me a crash course in gardening, identifying all the flowers she's been tending.
This one is Frangipani, that's hibiscus, tiger orchid, bird of paradise.
It all just dripped like honey off Michelle's lips that I so wanted to kiss, But I also wanted to get into my suitcase. I came back with the little bottles and offered her one. She cringed, told me she comes from a long line of drunks, adding that the last thing the islands need is another one. She then challenged me to pour them out and go 1 week without any booze, beer included. I took the dare, threw the bottles over the embankment, and moved on to plan B. Well, how about we score some pot? Bet it grows like gangbusters up here.
So they tell me.
You've never tried it?
I live in Maui, dude. Of course I tried it.
And?
The first time it made me giggly. The second time it made me sleepy. The third time I got paranoid. Who needs that?
Oh well, some fantasies pan out better than others. I headed back up the path to the house to lick my wounds when the sweetest words a Southern California boy could hope to hear came tumbling out her mouth.
Hey Dylan, do you surf?
Is water wet?
Tomorrow, early. I'll show you my spot.
We headed down to the coast in a rusted Jeep before the sun decided to come out and join us. She turned off a windy dirt road past a sign that warned that trespassers would be prosecuted and continued until we reached a white sand beach with the most brilliant turquoise water you can imagine. We grabbed our boards and paddled out to a hidden reef where these pitched waves that started in Tahiti would roll in all summer long. We were the only ones there. In between sets, sitting on our boards, she told me how she adored my mother who believed in her and paid her like an adult. She hoped to be the first in her family to go to college to study landscape design, even though her parents expected her to work full-time after high school. Man, listening to Michelle, I felt ashamed how unmotivated I'd become, how unfocused, ashamed how easy I had it. The waves were closing out, so we came in and napped side by side on the sand, wet skin on wet skin. Our eyes closed, but not for long. A chopped down VW dune buggy right out of Mad Max was coming for us with some large locals aboard. I'd surfed spots on Maui before I knew there were some serious island rules, tough beach gangs to navigate. Got to my feet to meet them like a young prince of peace when Michelle stopped.
Let me.
Michelle went straight for the leader, a tattooed Samoan-sized behemoth in cut-off jeans and chains for a shirt. That was Bobo. They spoke with that broken island dialect. The only word I could make out for sure was haole. Michelle held her ground, and eventually Bobo gave up his scowl and walked my way.
Baby girl says you okay.
I remember smiling. My chin remembers getting popped with a sudden and solid right jab, a sucker punch. I went down.
Oh, Bobo, what did you hit him for?
It's the price of admission. Welcome to my rock, bruh. Yeah, you can surf whenever.
Bobo was true to his word. I surfed my ass off there that whole trip. Michelle would venture out with me whenever she was free. Otherwise, we'd have lunch together with Iris whenever she would come to work. Speaking of Iris, I overheard her on the phone gabbing to someone about my improved attitude, crediting Michelle with my sudden transformation. Mom was right for a change. Being clean and sober agreed with me, and it must please Michelle since she was the one who initiated our first kiss. It didn't get crazy between us. We always kept it cool, a couple of kisses here and there, with a little heavier action on the good nights. I didn't want to push it, knowing I'd be leaving soon, especially since Iris warned me that her parents were impossibly strict and she was probably a virgin.
What about you, Dylan? Have you ever?
Oh, like anyone ever asked me that before. I mean, I was rich, lived in a hotel, so I must be a player, right? And of course, I never tried to disabuse him of that notion, preferring to cement my reputation for being mad, bad, and dangerous to know. The night before I was flying back home, there was a big locals-only party to celebrate Bobo's birthday, and we were invited. It was going down at one of the cane fields. Michelle really wanted to be there even more after her parents nixed it, so I became part of the deception. I promised her parents and I promised Iris to have Michelle home from the movies in Kihei by 10:30. The night sky was high, the moon could not have been fuller. Thai sticks and bottles of oki were being passed around. Oki is the preferred bootleg booze of the island made from taro root and sugar cane. It supposedly packs a white lightning wallop. I wouldn't know. Michelle made sure I didn't touch this stuff. But we did toke up a few times when the blunts got passed our way. A raggedy-ass reggae band was playing Bob Marley on an endless loop, and we sang along at the top of our lungs as we danced with our arms around each other. You got to lively up yourself, and don't be no drag. It was still early, not even 8. Bobo orchestrated a drunken, stony game of hide-and-seek in the cane fields. Michelle and I hid deep within the stalks. No one was going to find us, and nothing was going to hold us back. We wanted each other and couldn't stop. I confess that for all my posturing, I had never gone all the way, and neither had she. We let our bodies lead and climaxed as one. Later on, there was a massive display of fireworks to honor Bobo. We were kids and all aglow until a barrage of misfired bottle rockets came down wrong and set the cane field ablaze. It got nuts in the smoke and confusion. We were caught on the wrong side of the highway and the wrong side of a promise with no way to get home till early the next morning. Michelle's parents were furious, grounding Michelle for the rest of the summer, making her quit her job with Iris to work full-time as a dishwasher. Iris was livid, making it clear how disgusted she was with me on the ride to the airport.
Your aura is warped. You're worse than your father. Now get out of my car.
On the flight back, I scored 2 Jacks and a Tanqueray off the beverage cart. Back home in Beverly Hills, I never told anyone about Michelle. I didn't want to cheapen what we had. Michelle was my first. I was hers. Now you know.
Wow.
Go ahead.
It was beautiful, but Larry, they cut out the writer's credit.
I saw that. What Pete just dropped.
Yeah, you know, nobody likes writers. Let's
I know. Where's my producer credit, Pete? God.
No, there was a radio play. Oh, there was a screenplay or whatever credit we had, which it was me and Chuck. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah,
but you know, I listened to it. I didn't watch because I didn't want to get confused. It was really lovely to listen to. I was very happy with it.
I want to show you some of the comments that were being said during this thing, and I want to apologize for not being able to.
Also, Pete, I want to praise you just a second. You know, Larry, what you didn't see, because I was keeping it close, and then I peeked, and all of a sudden it was in sync. So he managed to realize that when it froze up, he could just find a spot that he knew he could sync up, went right there and sync it again.
It just kind of happened.
So we did have some sync moments.
We did. Okay, so this is what people are saying. Okay, this is brilliant. Jessica, Tom, and Louise are wonderful. Allison said he could be Luke Perry's cousin.
Oh, good for
Totally.
Allison.
Cousin Tom, yeah.
Totally.
Peter Goldsworthy thinks that he's ready for a surf after this. Mary B says, "Oh my God, I'm obsessed with this." Our friend Sherry Weiss, who will be in an episode at some point, says, "Welcome to my rock, brother new. Welcome to the pitch."
Well, thanks
Good
for putting in
point,
context, Professor Weiss.
And Heather Melton says, just reminded that Kelly's name was Michelle in the 60s episode. So there you go.
Ooh, good callback on that.
And then there was a lot of brava and
Oh, nice.
fantastic and loved it.
feedback.
Let's see our
Blacks as well.
Yeah, we
Black
want
and Vein.
Tom
Yeah,
too.
wow,
We got to
thanks.
get Tom on here and give him
Is
a.
Tom back here yet? No,
He's
we're
back
see the
there.
cast.
He
Oh,
is,
great. Oh,
yes.
Tom,
There
there you
he
go.
is.
So you hadn't seen that before, Tom.
Cousin Tom. That's who you are now. You're Dylan's cousin Tom.
Well, that's a high honor.
You were damn good, son. I
You
knew you
nailed
would
it.
be when I introduced you to these guys, and there you were. And months. As Bobo as it comes.
It was
And,
great to
and
Bobo.
Jessica. Jessica, yeah,
Look
there
at
you go. There's our cast. Bravo, guys. I don't know if you were able to see it all because we did have some freeze-ups. But
Yeah.
like I said, I just listened to it, but you did get to see yourselves, right? because you all have some really wonderful moments. And
so, Pete, where is this going to live? Is it going to live on
YouTube? Yeah, this will live on.
I think we can just separate it and just have it on YouTube. Yeah, it'll be on YouTube,
and social media, of course.
Yes,
and hopefully it'll go viral. Maybe.
Yeah.
Just to the beginning, I think this StorySlam stuff is working. What was your impression of seeing yourself, Louise? Let's start with you.
I was cringing slightly.
we all understand that, and Ryan will attest to that. It's the hardest thing, and Tom will attest to that. But we gave Louise a hard time because look, Stephanie Beacham is from London. Louise is from east of London.
Absolutely.
And they dropped their G. They dropped their G's at the end of like a gerund word. And so we were trying to help her. We're trying to push her, like actors have to learn things. And she's not a professional actress, but she did a wonderful job for her. She got this
fantastic
character great.
Yeah. I want to ask Tom, though. I mean, you came into this and you're going to be playing Dylan McKay, the iconic character. What was this like for you?
Terrifying. I mean, really, really exciting. But then once it sank in, terrifying. It was just terrifying. I mean, it's just such big shoes to fill. And, my wife could not be a bigger fan, not only of the show, but also of Dylan, and had, I hope this doesn't embarrass her to hear it, but she had, there was a Twister, like a Beverly Hills 90210 Twister game.
Oh, cool.
And when she was a kid, she bought it and then cut out Luke Perry, cut out Dylan, and just like put him next to her mirror on her bedroom wall so she could like see herself next to him.
Oh my God.
It's like Leanne's cardboard cutout.
Or Melanie Belushi.
I never thought to do that with hair. I really wish I had thought about that. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Tom.
No, it's just to say, I mean, they're really big shoes to fill, and he was such a terrific actor, and it's such a beloved character, and so yeah, it's the sort of thing that I would love to spend like months obsessing over preparing, and so I mean, it was terrifying. It was agonizing to watch, but but it also was like really.
Now, if you want to find out how hard Tom is on himself, he actually sent me an email. Tom, I'm outing you now. He sent me an email in which he apologized for his performance.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
we all can relate. Everyone who's been an actor.
Seriously,
my 86-year-old mother would come back and say, "I should have done it this way." She was.
Oh my God!
You were
Absolutely.
so good.
It's so. Thank you.
Tom,
I appreciate that.
Jennifer says, "Great job."
Yeah, and now you had never met Jessica either, and Jessica is not an actress, but she just lights up the screen, and she's
great presence.
And we're so happy that worked out because. We did, it was an exotic character, and obviously we're in this era. Not that we couldn't, because we have months playing Hawaiian, but we wanted something. I threw it out to her, and she just jumped right in. I'm so thrilled.
Thank you. It was so much fun, and to see the final product tonight.
Yeah. Oh, great! So glad. Yeah.
Months.
Yeah, well, I bet if he were around, John Hughes would want to be working with you even.
Yeah, Chicago.
Mr. Chicago,
Months, what about you watching this all come together? I mean, you recorded it very early during a cigarette.
I did a cup of coffee in tow. Honestly,
just like Bobo.
I thought it was really good, man. I thought everybody nailed their parts exceptionally well. Tom, you were a great Dylan. Don't beat yourself up, brother. It was awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, very good stuff. All right, so let's see. I want to bring back the original author here, Michelle.
Oh yeah, so there you go, Michelle.
What'd you think?
I thought it was great, fantastic. You guys all played it perfect, and it was just great to see it come to life. And thank you to all you guys for introducing this and doing the StorySlam. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Michelle, for doing it. And you had read it before, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should also thank everyone who submitted to StorySlam originally, because I mean that was really amazing. They bought into the game, and we had some fun with it. Now we're starting.
Well, now you can understand the game. So if you get any bright ideas, Lisa, then send them on in. We'll we'll entertain them. We're the best ones on the air, and get started.
Exactly. This is a new fun aspect here to the Beverly Hills 90210 show that we're all digging a lot. So I want to just thank the cast. I thought you all did amazing work. Tom, you were fantastic. And Jessica and Louise and Munch, you're always wonderful, as you know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gravitas.
Yeah. So thank you guys. And we're gonna stick around and talk about some more things that are happening, but we're gonna say goodbye to our cast for sure.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you guys. Yay.
I have no pants on, I can't stand up too far. Bye-bye, Jessica.
All right, guys. So what do you think of the first one? I mean, this is just with the four of us here now talking.
Well, you know,
no, I thought it was really. I did what Larry did. I closed my eyes, and it held together really nicely. All was good, but SteamYard and Pete, but you salvaged it, and I really encourage the people who saw it in a marred way to find us on the Facebook page, to find us on YouTube. Instagram, wherever your pleasure is.
Put a clean version of it
enjoy
on.
it. And tell us what you think.
And spread it around. Spread it around.
All right, now let's talk about what's to come next week.
Man, I mean,
doing another one. I want to just because somebody asked this question, so I'm going to answer this question. Someone said, "When are you going to go back to covering episodes?"
I saw that, Chris.
Rude questions. Of course.
Wait.
This is the Festival of Fans.
Who ended the show? Who said no to the show? Is he the guy who quit Patreon? The same Chris?
Yeah, Chris.
And you're fucking listening to that guy? Seriously? You know what, Chris? As far as I'm concerned, for you, never.
No, we're just
being rough here.
Take your love of Donald Trump somewhere else, my friend.
Oh my God!
Before you criticize Larry and I and Pete and Melanie.
Yeah. Okay.
We're doing this for fun. We're doing the page, and you said some really nasty things to Pete, and I'm not going to let you get away with it.
That's all right. Okay, listen, let's just move on.
It might have been a medication thing. Someone might not have taken their medication. We have to be very sympathetic. He might not have a medication.
To answer that question, I am recording a bunch of stuff for the Patreon that will eventually air here during the show. Right now, we are yes, we are, but we're focused on the story slams because so many people put so much effort into these stories and the actors and everything like that. So I'm super excited about it. And the thing about it, what you guys don't even know is what's happening in December.
Oh my God.
Not even talking about is going to be so epic in relation to the story slam that you guys are just have no idea.
I can't wait.
Well, if you love the show and you know the whole saga, we're adding parts of it that you never thought of, little wrinkles, and I was just having some fun with it, and it was inspired by the fans, and that's why we're doing it. There's no other reason. But I think the idea of the audio play though is working. When I have my eyes closed there, and your sound effects, Pete, really were working.
Yeah,
very nice. You could see the prompt. You could see the promise of what you can really do with a little bit of a budget and some other stuff. I mean, it was very good. And then the narrator, it was nice. It was working well.
I have to tell you again, I said at the top, but hearing Jenny Garth get back into the Kelly Taylor shoes as the narrator is absolutely epic. And you guys have no idea what that's a couple of weeks away.
Yeah.
Now next week we're going to be.
Well, let's just say one thing since we're here. Maybe we have a forum or at least a platform. We still have not cast the young Irish actor who plays with the young Kelly in the StorySlam, the young Connor. And
Larry, I actually sent the email out to an actor.
Great.
Who I know can do that accent.
Great.
Amazing.
I also, if there's anybody who has a friend who's an Irish actor or
that's what I'm getting at.
You contact us.
Especially our UK friends who might have some Irish people around.
Like how we just
but even the UK actors are so well trained they can do any dialogue. I mean,
everybody in the European.
Just remember that the character is in their 20s.
Yeah,
that's right.
Young dashing Irish Romeo, tap dancer.
And
we will need lots of tap dancing sound effects, Pete.
Oh, I can't wait.
Get those ready.
I would get them ready now. And then, but next week, I think
you could even have some rave up music.
Yeah,
in the background. That tips a little bit of what the scenes are, right?
And we also have we should be able to have the show next Wednesday show should be the second episode of StorySlam, right?
It is.
The Fling, which was written by you started by Maggie Polo.
That's right.
And we have now cast the David character.
That's right. That's right. It's a pro actor. So do you want to talk about that, Chuck, or do you want to wait till next week to discuss that?
Well, no, I think we should next week. You know, I put a call out. You know, we're not, Larry and I, none of us are in the business now, so we're not talking to casting directors, and we really can't offer anything to a professional to come in and read something. So they either have to be kind of, appreciative of 90210 culture to be that person. And this is somebody that my daughter worked with on her musical, Cruel Intentions, the musical. So I reached out to her partner on the Cruel Intentions, the musical, because my daughter with the 2 kids and her 3 writing assignments, I'm not going to add anything to that plate. So called the other guy. He put out some feelers, and we're going to have a terrific fellow named Jared show up next week.
I think, we have our recording sessions Thursday and Friday. And so we should be able to have that.
And guys, you'd be very impressed. Larry's as you might expect, doing the directing. He's in the front lines, and I just, sit in the back like a producer whispering.
Well, no, Chuck, I will say, I actually think I agree with you that Larry's been doing a fantastic job at directing these, but you actually have given some really great notes to some of the fan actors. You gave a smile tip. You gave some tips. You know what I mean?
Just denigrating myself.
And all right, very cool. I don't see that, Melanie. So
we thought we were having someone else pop on, but I guess she's not back there.
No, she's not.
Oh, too bad. Well, maybe she'll come to the Patreon. Maybe
she'll come.
Yes.
Did you reach out to her, Mel?
She was supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen. I don't know where she is.
Yeah, she was in the
Leanne,
comments.
we're talking about you.
Yes,
you have the link, right? Did I not send you the link?
Even if you're not all there, we're going to hold out and vamp for a couple of minutes while your friends contact you and go, what are they talking about?
But
where are you?
I want to say I really loved putting this together too, we are vamping. It was, I have to say too, I got really into the Dylan because I thought, listen, I think casting Dylan is probably one of the hardest things to do. You know what I mean? Given the iconicness of the character and all that. But I thought Tom nailed it.
Couldn't have asked for a better actor. He, from top to bottom, I mean, I bought it 100%.
Yeah. I mean,
well, the only thing, as I said to Pete, one point, there's one regret I have, Chuck. We should have been able to figure out a kiss, like a Zoom kiss. Has anyone tried that? Like, couldn't there have been like a panel, like a Michelle,
we lean over like this type thing?
Kiss over there. Turn that. No,
that might be inappropriate, but like this.
Yeah, we should have done.
All right.
There should have been.
That was inappropriate.
No one's really done that. We have to.
So many levels of it.
And there's a good reason that no one's ever done.
Yeah, because that was really awkward.
The limitations of the medium.
All right, so we have a special guest joining.
Oh, because it's Halloween.
Yeah, because that was really. You got to turn down your background broadcast.
Come on, Leanne, this is your first radio. Hold on, we'll take.
I can hear myself saying awkward over and over again.
There she is.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
It's Dennis.
OG fan.
Dennis, right?
Is she in character right now? Is Dee?
No, I just look like this.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not Dennis. I am Diesel Stone.
Right. Do you remember this portion of the storyline when Nikki Witt was dating David Arquette's character?
I play a keytar.
You were abusive. And he came on because of his relationship with Luke. Actually, that's why he would be willing to do the show. And I'm so happy that you did, Diesel, because the other plot that we played against you did not match the vision we had as we were making it. But yours, you were great because you played a really bad guy very well.
So a couple of things. What I would like for other fans to do is to send us your awesome Halloween 90210 things. Send it to us. We're going to share some of that. And also maybe this can somehow we can cut a little clip of this and get David Arquette to come join us on a future episode of the Beverly Hills 90210.
Leanne, did you wear this? Are you wearing this at a Halloween party?
Oh, I think she just hangs out in it.
Yeah, I bought this beautiful nylon shirt that's Ben's chest and back hair on Amazon. And then made my keytar. I am notorious for wearing costumes that nobody gets, and I always have to explain it. And this falls perfectly in line. No, it was just more. I just thought it was funny. With like the Dylan doll and stuff, I would do things of like couples costumes and stuff like that with that, and then have evolved into my own 90210 characters for this. And the other day, David Arquette shared my costume in his Instagram stories. That's exciting.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Fabulous.
Amazing.
You know,
Yeah.
I have to say, from following you, nobody has more fun than Leanne.
Oh,
Yeah.
I agree.
You're
And
good.
you've got somebody who's crazy enough to follow it with you now too, which is sweet.
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny too. My boyfriend, he doesn't approve of this shirt for some weird reason. That I don't know.
He's got a lot of hair on his back. Is that it? Is that why?
Well, like his kids were like, "Oh, so you're dressed as dad."
All right. So listen, this is great. I'm gonna see. I think I'm gonna see Leanne soon.
Mhm.
Don't
Maybe
wear
you'll
that.
dress like this. I don't know. But-
Please
Oh
don't
my
wear
God.
that. All right. Okay. This has been a great. We're gonna say goodbye to Leanne, and now the four of us are gonna say goodbye to everybody. We're about to do a
Happy
Patreon.
Halloween, trick or treat. Send it.
Yeah.
Wait, does it have to
Yeah.
be 90210 costume or just anything really?
Preferred, but
Yeah,
we'll take really good.
Yeah.
Take anything. Yeah.
And
We could-
find the Dylan's confession video and have fun with
Share
it.
it.
Yes, share it widely.
Please.
We'll be back for the news on Friday too.
Oh,
this
we
week.
are. Okay.
Oh,
We're
great.
we're doing
Oh my
an
God.
every week thing, so we can highlight some costumes on the news on Friday, right?
That was news to Chuck and I.
Well, we confirmed that last week, Pete.
Yes,
You were the one who said
That's
you
right.
would
We
commit
did.
to
We
that.
did agree that. That's right. Okay, guys, this has been wonderful. We will see you all next week where we're
Thank you
doing
so
the
much.
next episode of Story Slam.